Now, Doug, of course, as this summit was happening in Hanoi, Donald Trump's former lawyer, his former fixer, Michael Cohen, was giving some explosive congressional testimony in the U.S., calling the president a con man, a racist, a liar. How big a role might that have played, do you think, on what happened at the summit?
Well, I'm pretty sure. No, I was not sitting in Donald Trump's hotel suite, but I would bet you that he was up zapping. There's a 12-hour time difference, watching that testimony on cable news via satellite from his hotel suite in Hanoi, and rightfully so, because he knows just how, despite all of his rhetoric aside, he knows just how damaging, potentially damaging, his former fixer and lawyer's testimony is. This is a man who called him a cheat, a racist, a liar, essentially a mobster. And what made the testimony perhaps more compelling is the fact that you had Michael Cohen essentially getting up before that congressional committee and saying, guys, I'm a scumbag. I recognize it. He didn't use the word scumbag, but he essentially said, I've been a liar, I've cheated, I've been an awful person, I've done everything awfully wrong. I finally want to own up to my mistakes, and that's why I'm here today, because I think, I'm drawing the line finally. I want to have a new future. And he says repeatedly, I'm going to jail for it. He had credibility in the sense that he totally owned all of his past mistakes. And it's even interesting because at this press conference, it's clear Donald Trump had it on his mind, because he mentioned Michael Cohen at that press conference in his final remarks, even saying he found it was almost a backhanded compliment to Michael Cohen, one of the few you'll ever probably hear from Donald Trump, saying, it's incredible that he didn't accuse me of collusion when you think of it. He's lied about everything else. He could have gone right, all in and just said, yeah, and he colluded too. And he said, I found it quite incredible. Maybe, give him some credit where credit's due. He didn't accuse me of collusion. So Donald Trump definitely had a split screen in his mind throughout this summit. He may have been sitting there in that seat with Kim Jong-un, and they may have been sort of smiling at each other. He was actually leaning into Kim Jong-un. The body language is very telling. But in the back of his mind, and not so far in the back of his mind, was that testimony going on. And I'm sure he was hoping it put pressure on him to bring back some sort of victory. I'm sure he would have liked to come back with something, but I'm equally sure that now that he hasn't, he's going to go all out, and the White House communications machine is going to go all out to spin this as somehow a success in the art of the non-deal when you know you don't have a deal in hand.
Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.